So if you're struggling from anxiety, depression, rampant thoughts, worrying, grieving, emotions that seem erratic or chaotic in your life, and you can't seem to get a grasp of yourself, then this message may be for you. So when you're struggling with anxiety or depression and you're not aware as to what the root cause of it, or you are aware to much extent and you are working with it and you still seem to be recycling patterns over and over and over for months, possibly even years, this is called shadow work. Let me go deeper with this. Shadows are coined and termed as a situation, an emotion, anxiety, depression, an occurrence or a pattern in your life that's not changing, and you keep seeing this recycling kind of like an impact in your life, and it's ongoing and maybe it's ramping up. That is considered a shadow. It's a shadow because although you feel like it does not belong to you, somehow it walks with you, it feeds off of you somehow. And the reason why it's feeding off of you is because you subconsciously or unconsciously are inadvertently feeding it in return. And the reasons why you keep holding on to these patterns is because you are being asked by the universe, by your higher self, by your guides, by your angels, to go deeper with this opportunity that may oftentimes feel like a curse. Again, it's the paradox effect. Which way do you want to see it? Do you want to see it as a curse, or do you want to see it as an opportunity? If you do see it as a curse because it's like you're in complete anguish, or what you're going through is unruly and unfathomable, then, and if nothing's changing in your life, then this is how you can use this to change your perspective on it and start to see the problem that's not going away as an opportunity. You may not know how or why yet, but you need to be able to change your mind from my personal experiences as an acupuncturist and a practitioner of Chinese medicine, so that you can begin the process of unraveling and exposing and shedding light to. So when you shed light to your shadow, per se, which is feeding off of you in some kind of a way that you're still not aware of. So when you shed light to something of your shadow, per se, then you are bringing into an awareness. When you shed light to something, it's because you are starting to see it with an open heart and open mind. So this is an opportunity for you to place awareness. And when you place awareness, you are shedding light. You are illuminating something of a dark nature, of some kind of adversity or a perversion that might be an occurrence to your life as we speak. And you may not know how or why as of yet, but this is a necessary component for you to start changing your mind about something and give your body a chance to reciprocate and to respond to you. Oftentimes when we see a therapist, and keep seeing your therapist if you're seeing one, I'm not suggesting anything, but oftentimes what happens is that we start to have conversations, and by life coaching through techniques, even through meditation, through acupuncture, whatever the technique may be, oftentimes, yes, it could work. We're talking about the deeper issues when you've been seeing an acupuncturist, you've been seeing a life coach, or you've been taking medication and prescription from your doctor, and something within you feels like it needs to change. We're talking about those particular issues, per se, that's leading you to experience anxiety, depression, and an array of issues, even autoimmune pathology. It's important that you see for yourself that these shadows are indeed feeding off of you. And if you simply try to cut them off, in essence, you are subconsciously feeding them in return, because they want you to try to cut them off, because that leads to more of an anxiety. Because when you try to push through something, it works for so many things, but something this deep and this intelligent in nature, such as a misunderstood shadow, will feed off of that. This is why it's not going away. So it's almost like you have to invert your way of doing things. So instead of cutting it off, change your conversation with your therapist, change your conversation with yourself, with your acupuncturist, per se, and start to comprehend. How do you comprehend? This is when you start to open up your heart, you open up your mind. That's the only thing that's required from you. By doing so, you start to open up to a new opportunity to evolve as to something that has not been changing. So something within you has to change for change to occur. You have to adapt to change for change to occur. If we sit here and wait for the therapist to change you, then that's called enabling. What should be happening is that you become empowered with a new imprint of instructions to be able to allow your body to ascend to who you are in your nature, or who you are desiring to be, because you know this is your true self. And that is your journey. That journey in particular is sacred. So if you're going through something really harsh and hard, the one thing you should be doing already is by saying, although I hate this situation, it sucks, and you could throw in all the curse words and everything, but damn it, this is sacred to me. I may not understand why yet or how, but I need to invoke this as sacred to me. And what happens is that now you're allowing your heart, which is not blocked, but to receive. Most of the blocks are not from the heart chakra. They're coming from the first, second, and third chakra system. And the heart will protect itself via the pericardium of an outer layer of fascial tissue that exists. And in Chinese medicine, it's called an organ all by itself. It's like the protector of the heart, and they call that the pericardium. There's channels that are attributed to the pericardium channel. So a lot of times it's the pericardium that goes on guard, because the pericardium does not trust your lower self, does not trust your dark nature. Your dark nature is your reproductive self, is your lower self, is your repressed and suppressed thoughts and emotions that get stored in your first memory, which is your primal memory, which is why all of the primal stuff exists from here below. All of like your illuminating sensory system is above. Think about that. You have your eyes, your ears, your taste buds, you're smelling. When you feel great, you know, look at me, you say, I feel great, from above. You don't go, I feel great, unless you're eating something. And again, if you're eating, that's primal. It's because it's a necessity. It's survival. It's very important that you understand that your body with the chakra system in the Vedic system is a complete symphony. And many of us forgot that we are the ones who orchestrate our entire body. So it's important for you to understand and be aware in your own way, your very system of existence. You don't need to learn from anyone. All you need to do is have an ability to be self-aware. And your body will show you. And oftentimes when it doesn't, it's because maybe you're working with trust issues of yourself. Well, I don't trust this person, I trust myself. No, that's a distortion. And we can always go deeper with that if you ever choose to consult with me, and if I resonate with you in that way. This is how you start to understand and unravel the roots that might be all the way down to your birth or past lives, ancestral, your DNA. You may be carrying a dysfunction that might have genetic markers and predispositions that get turned on and turned off, and you say you have no control of. Well, seeing is within the eyes of the believer. Don't just trust what they're telling you. It's time for you to start to trust yourself. And that's not easy, because that is the root chakra, it's the very first chakra. We forget who we are. We forget where we came from. We don't even remember what our purpose is. We believe that we're supposed to develop it over time, which is the dichotomy of life, which is a truth, but it's half of the truth. The other half is what the mind does not remember, in which your heart already has. And the easy way to understand that is by tapping into your pure passions. And if you do everything, in theory, everything that you do is aligned with your passions. If you're a musician and you make a living with your music, and the people who you're in contract with them, who are in contract with you, feel you and you feel them, it's no longer about the money. And then you get paid, they get paid, as an example, and you are living in harmony. You could be a musician and still be miserable because you're not living out your pure truth, and you're not aligning yourself with other people that are living out their pure truth. And somehow you're integrated with them. And it's sometimes you have to cut out that situation, but other times when you can't, it's because the universe within you, your higher mind, is asking you to dive deeper so you can self-comprehend your true nature and how you actually value yourself. When you start resonating in self-value per se, then you start to engender that and become the light of that. And everything outside you, which is the outside world, starts to vibrate at that frequency, sometimes immediately. And sometimes when it's bigger and higher, you have to understand patience and time to allow your biology and to allow the outside matrix of this world of people and agreements to subconsciously also start to come to you in the vibration that you see yourself in, that you are working in with. And this is where it's important for you to understand how to work within the path of patience and I would say uncertainty. Uncertainty is very powerful. It means that you know who you are, you know where you're going, yet each step that you take seems dark. It seems as if it doesn't exist. And if you find yourself within that realm, it means that you are a very powerful soul. It means that you are creating what does not yet exist, which is the hardest thing in the world to do. It's important for you to see how your subconscious being, how your subconscious mind is feeding the very nature or the very situation or the thing that keeps coming to you. Mother Earth is all about recycling. And when you do that without comprehending something about that, and it's constantly repeating in your life, then you will stagnate. And when you stagnate, the world around you stagnates in return. You've proved it to yourself over and over again. I proved it to myself 10,000 times. I speak from failure. That's my wisdom. I honor my failure. And this is how I'm able to empirically work with different souls as an activist, as a strategist, from a very divine place from within me. No longer serving a fear of failing or passing. No longer serving a fear of being right or wrong. But serving a nature from within me, like running water, to speak unfiltered to my heart's desire. So if it's in your heart's desire to no longer dance with these distorted shadows such as anxiety, depression, let us unravel together. I am now offering private online consultations. I've been training as an acupuncturist. I've been in practice since 2014. My personal journey began back in 1989 when I embarked on the journey of the mysterious and hidden arts of Xingyi Chuan, in which, even though it's a martial art, a style of Kung Fu, but the 5-element theory within that system is interconnected with traditional Chinese medicine. And not knowing back then that I'd be an acupuncturist now, those two realities have merged as one. And because of that, I failed more miserably in life, just like anyone else did, because I needed to see something from within myself that, although it wasn't on purpose, it was necessary. And that is called overstanding. If you resonate with me in such a way, then I am willing and able and capable to go in as deep with you in your waters, as deep as they may be. And we can go deep. We can go deep, but again, as deep as you are capable, willing, and able to. All you require is an open heart, an open mind, maybe pen and paper. And really quickly, many people ask me, how many consultations should I see you with? I don't have a particular number because everyone's different, but I tell everyone generally just so they can decide from within themselves. If it's acute, meaning it happened a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, and you feel like you can handle something, I always say gauge change between 2 or 3 consultations with me. That's not to say one consultation will be enough for you. You get to decide that, of course. But I always say give yourself a chance and gauge change between 2 or 3. If it's chronic or complex, meaning I've had this on and off for years, possibly decades, my whole entire life, I still see all of these therapists I encourage you to continue to see them. Let's integrate and interweave so that you can enhance yourself in such a way. Because if you're already seeing a psychologist or a physician or an acupuncturist, and when you start to increase and start to enhance your inner knowing, you do that for them without even telling them. Because now your questions start to enhance because you start to know yourself even more as things to begin to unravel. And your relationship with those people who you've entrusted will change. If you trust that within yourself, and if you're curious to see if that actually is a thing, there's only one way to find out. So this is why I always say I'm not here to replace anyone. I'm here to help you to activate within yourself. I'm not here to learn you. Anything that I speak, as long as you resonate with my words, is a remembrance of what you already know about yourself. We are just putting light on it. There's nothing here to teach. I am simply holding this heavy mirror reminding you of who you really are. That if I am a healer and I have the ability to heal myself, so are you, soul. You are too a healer with an ability to heal yourself. You don't have to go to school to do this. You are already in an awakening school. And that's called your soul's journey. Let us unravel. Let us unlock your action potential and latency that your DNA already has. Your guides, your higher self are along your side, ready and able and celebrating along you. All you need to do is remember to start celebrating your journey, especially when things aren't going great.